Hey everybody, so in this video I want to kind of explain to you guys what exactly a supercharger is. What is this mysterious black magic that Tesla uses to charge your car so quickly. So I kind of want to go through it. I'm sitting at the supercharger right now and figure I can actually show you some of the stuff. I mean, I can't show you everything, but because some of it's under the ground, but I can kind of give you an idea of what's going on with the supercharging. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we're sitting out here at the Superchargers, and I kind of want to give you an idea of what it all is. So if we're looking up here, we see the utility lines that go all the way across. Those utility lines, lens flare there. Those utility lines are carrying 12. Oh, geez, Louise! The utility lines are carrying 12,000 volts. At I believe 750 kilovolt amps, which I don't know why they don't just call it 750 kilowatts, but who knows. And then at every Tesla site there is this big kind of utility bay. Let's go and take a look actually, and hopefully people don't think I'm a lunatic checking out this stuff. But there's this big station over here that it's kind of tough to see. That takes the 12,000 volts down to 480 volt 3-phase 200 amps, and that 200 amps then goes down to or that 480 volt 3-phase 200 amps then feeds 4 switch gears, and if you notice here, there's 8 bays. So there's 4 switch gears. Each one serves 2 separate bays, which is why you never want to charge at the same stall if possible for somebody else using a Tesla Supercharger. So those switch gears control the power going to all of the spots. I'm actually going to hop in my car because it's freezing. So, let's keep these lights on. So, you now have 480 volt 3-phase, so that's AC, feeding at 200 amps to each of the stalls. And then what happens is it gets rectified, and what rectified means it goes from alternating current to direct current. Each of the stations rectifies that to DC, which then you plug your car in, and that bypasses the onboard rectifiers and feeds and charges the battery directly. Now, what's actually really cool is that Tesla decided to leverage their design for the superchargers from the Model S, or maybe vice versa. I don't know which came first, but they actually use 12 of the same onboard charging units that are used in your Model S to convert that alternating current at each of the stations into direct current. So that's pretty cool. So each of those chargers is capable of, I believe, 10 or 11 kilowatts, which means if you have 12 of them, you can output up to 120 kilowatts, which is pretty awesome. And that's actually a really smart idea because you're leveraging the design for the rectifier, which means it's getting more usage. It's being tested more, and I think it's just kind of a genuinely cool and interesting use of existing technology. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So there's 12 of those for each bay, which is why you get so much power. And so what I was saying earlier about the how you can have multiple, this spot here in Dedham, Massachusetts has 8 stalls. So if you were to park at a supercharger, and if this, let me see, the bays are numbered. So if I zoom in on that, you can kind of see it's 2A, 2B, 1A, 1B over there. And if you were to park at the same in the same numbered stall. If I were to park in 2A and somebody else were to park in 2B and we were both to charge, we would be splitting that 120 kilowatts between both of our cars, which means you'd be getting a slower charge, which kind of stinks. But it's got the superchargers here all the superchargers have some smarts in them, which will say, okay, this car is maybe at 90%, so it's not drawing 60 kilowatts. Maybe it's only drawing 20 kilowatts or 10 kilowatts. So the rest of the 120 kilowatts is going to go to the car, or vice versa. So you never really want to park at the same stall as somebody else unless you absolutely have to, because you'll be topping out at probably 45 to 60 kilowatts, depending on what type of supercharger you have installed at your local Tesla Supercharger stations. So that's kind of a rough idea of what the Tesla Superchargers are. There's a lot more technology that goes between them. I think maybe, so similar to CHAdeMO, one of the things I forgot to mention is that with the DC chargers, it's more than just like a dumb charging system. There's a big kind of handshake between when you plug your charger in and when it's talking with the car to figure out, can I safely charge the car? And this is actually, I believe, the same for both the Tesla Superchargers and the CHAdeMO stations. It'll do what's called an isolation test, and it'll see, okay, if I give you the maximum voltage I have, are there any leaks? Is there any current leak going into the car that I need to worry about? If it doesn't pass the isolation test, you're not going to be able to charge your car. And that's actually what happens when you plug your car, and you'll see at first it'll say starting to charge or checking charger. It'll put out like 400 something volts, 0 amps, just to make sure that there's no leaky current that could possibly damage anything. And so that's pretty cool. It's another way to like protect against any sort of faults that there are in equipment or on the car or in the station itself. So I think that kind of covers it for the superchargers. If there's anything else you guys want to see, or you folks want to see, or any other questions you may have or comments, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. I try and put out stuff as often as I can find interesting stuff to put out. I think the next video I'm going to put out is probably going to be an autopilot video. I'm just kind of going over some of the basics of it. So, yeah, if there's anything you want to see, just put in the comments. And otherwise, have a good one. Bye-bye.